Hello there, I'm John Caruso and welcome to our Automotive Industries Insights series. And today we'll be speaking to Brett Mills, a dealer principal with Ken Mills Toyota, Nambour and Maroochydore. I guess if we were having this conversation in a pub or at a bar, a consumer or someone interested in purchasing a new vehicle might say, is it going to drive up the cost when we impose standards and emission regulations on vehicles? Will the vehicle be more expensive, Brett?
I think if you looked at the cars that Australians want to consume right now, they are typically the cars that are going to struggle to meet the standard CO2 emissions in the coming years, which means the importer either has to pay a fine or has to buy credits. Logic would say that if you add cost to the cost to distribute any product, the price is going to go up. The flip side argument is interesting on the EVs because effectively an EV importer or a manufacturer who has a blend of everything may actually end up in a credit situation and may be able to sell those credits. So I think the argument from a government perspective is that will actually bring down the price of cars, which, if it works perfectly in an ideological world, it possibly will. I think the problems then become the market is not moving in the way and as quickly as what I think was anticipated or hoped. And I also think that as the government, as the legislation brings down the consumption of diesel and petrol consuming vehicles, the government has a fuel excise tax problem, which they need to fill somehow. It's hard to imagine that they're not going to have to sort of find some other way to tax cars, whether they're EVs, So, look, I mean, my guess is, are we going to see, in the long term, generally speaking, cheaper cars in Australia? I find it a little hard to believe, to be honest.
It sounds like Aussies need to change their mindset in terms of the kind of vehicles they're purchasing.
I think that's a really relevant point, right? First thing is, it's government's job to legislate in a way that potentially moves consumer behaviour. And they're trying to do that, right? I think the really separating part is taking a market-driven approach to carbon reduction versus taking a policy-driven approach to carbon reduction. Because I do believe that maybe given time, and I think this will happen in time, the car manufacturers will find ways to develop technology and to ensure they're compliant with the standards, that people will naturally start to buy more carbon-friendly vehicles because they're going to be given options. And I would say this is more the thinking of legacy brands. They're going to be given options which are lower carbon-emitting vehicles, which is going to tick their boxes as consumers. As an example, you're seeing technology like performance hybrid engines, which are really specifically developed to produce the type of power and torque that traditionally comes out of a bigger V8 engine. And we're seeing plug-in hybrid technology. Now, all of those things right now, some people are a bit on the fence. But I think as that technology is improved and performance gets better and the experience of owning one of these vehicles is, in no way disadvantageous to owning a car that we're used to owning now, I think consumers will naturally start to go that way.
Toyota.